Hello and welcome back to Music Repo. In this video, I'm going to take a look at how you can record your keyboard and vocals at the same time in a home recording studio setup. I've already put out quite a comprehensive video on how to record your keyboard, which you might want to refer to. I also looked at this issue recently for piano and keyboard teachers who were wanting to take their lessons online during the COVID crisis and so needed to capture voice and keyboard together. Well, this video is a development of that and a response to some of the questions you have asked. It's for those of you who want a nice, simple setup. My setup, which I demonstrated in that last video with mixing console, etc., was possibly a bit overkill for many of you. Some of you only have a 2-channel interface and you want to know if you can record your keyboard through one channel, your voice through the other. Just a nice, easy home setup. Obviously in a professional studio you'd have much more complex scenario with multiple mics to capture your piano and so on. Here we're going to look at the minimum recording equipment you need to get a good quality recording result. As usual, if you have any comments and questions, post them below. I do read them all and it helps me decide what content to create next to help you achieve your recording goals. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up because that really helps me out. I post regular videos on home recording studio setup, particularly aimed at entry level and newbies. So if that sounds of interest to you, then do subscribe. And if you press the notification bell, you'll be the first to get my studio tips and tricks as they go live. Check out the description below to find links to products I mention and further content. I've got more detailed guides that I've written on my website. Okay, let's look at what you need to record your keyboard and vocals at the same time. Let's have a look at the basic setup I have here for recording voice and keyboard. At the heart of all this is my audio interface. This is the device that allows you to connect your audio sources, in this case your keyboard and your microphone. It converts the signals from your sound sources into a digital audio stream that can then be recorded in recording software on your computer. Now, I get a lot of questions from people asking if they can do this without an audio interface, and the answer is no, not properly. So you will need some kind of an interface. I have done videos on what is an audio interface and how to choose the best one for you, so you can go and refer to those. But yes, you will need an audio interface because this is the box that allows you to take the signals from here and get them into your recording software. This is a very simple interface with 2 recording channels. The important thing is that it allows me to connect microphones, either 1 or 2, and it also has line inputs. So these are combination inputs that can record multiple kinds of things. So my microphone is obviously a mic signal, whereas my keyboard is a line signal. So I can record both in this interface. It's simple, it's got 2 recording channels, so I can record either 1 stereo sound source or 2 mono sound sources. This is my mic. It is a large diaphragm condenser microphone, which is the most common type that you would use to record vocals in a studio situation. You can use other mics. If you've got another microphone already, then use that. There is no reason why you shouldn't use a dynamic mic if that's what you've got. But if you're buying from scratch, this is the sort of mic to buy for studio recording. Now, all I need to connect my microphone to my interface is an XLR lead, one of these. So I connect one end to the microphone and the other end to one of the microphone inputs on the interface. Now, because this is a condenser mic, I'm going to need to use the phantom power to power the mic, and then I have got a gain control here that will allow me to adjust the volume until I'm getting it just right. So that's my microphone. I'll just move that out of the way. So I've got a very simple keyboard here, and this has only got 1 audio output, and that is this headphone output here. The headphone output is a stereo TRS output, and obviously I've only got 1 channel left here, so I'm going to have to make a mono recording of my keyboard. So the cable I'm going to use in this situation is this one. This has got one end is a TRS plug and it's 1/8 of an inch in size. That I can plug into the headphone port on my keyboard. And then this is a mono 1/4 inch plug, which I can plug into the other input on my interface like so. This cable takes the stereo output from the keyboard and converts it to a mono signal that I can record here. So that's a very neat little cable, and that's the kind of cable you need if you've only got one stereo output on your keyboard and you've only got one mono channel left on your interface. And it makes a perfectly good recording. So this is a very simple recording scenario. It may be that your keyboard is a bit more sophisticated than mine and has line outputs. Now usually these are labelled left, mono and right. So if we take a look at this device here, now this is not a keyboard, but it's got the similar sort of outputs that I'm talking about. So here it has got, if we look at the outputs here, it's got the left mono output and the right output. I could connect a cable to each output and record in stereo, but I can also just connect a cable to the left output and record mono. So if we have a look what cable I need for that, I just need a simple TS cable like this, a simple jack cable that's got a TS plug on each end. One end would go into the left or mono output and the other end would go into the line input on the interface like I've done here. That is the same similar recording scenario to what I've got here, where I have connected my headphone output and used a conversion cable that converts it to one mono signal. Now, if you want to record your keyboard in stereo, or you want to increase the number of audio signals you want to record at the same time, then you will need to either purchase an interface with more inputs. So for example, if we have a look at this interface here, this interface has got the same kind of inputs on the front, mic stroke line stroke instrument inputs. So there's two inputs on the front, but it also has an additional two sets of line inputs on the back. So with this interface, which is a 4i4, this one is the older 2i4, with the 4i4 you can record 4 signals at once. So you could connect up to 2 mics or a mic and a guitar, and at the same time connect your keyboard in stereo. So if you want to that sort of recording scenario, you're going to have to get an interface that records more inputs at once if you want to record all these things at the same time. So the other option for recording more than 2 things at once is to use a mixing console. This is a simple mixing console with 6 inputs, so I could connect 2 microphones and 2 other stereo inputs all at once, and then I could take the stereo outputs and feed them into my stereo inputs on my interface, and so I could record 6 things at once. The main difference between using a mixing console or using an interface that has got multiple inputs like this one is that this interface would allow me to record each audio signal on a separate track. So I could have 4 separate tracks with the 4 separate audio sources recording separately. If I use this mixing console, then I'm only going to have stereo output. So everything's going to be mixed into one stereo signal. So the 4-channel interface is the device to use if you want to have 4 channels recording simultaneously on separate tracks. A mixing console is something you can use if you are not bothered about all the separate tracks all at once and you just want to get a stereo signal from the combination of your voice and your keyboard. Okay, so we've had a basic look at the hardware. A few extras you're going to need. You will need a pop filter, especially if you're going to record by close miking. You're going to need a microphone stand, and you're going to need to connect a set of headphones, closed back headphones, preferably, so that you don't get any bleed, so that you can monitor your audio signals as you're recording. Once you've got all the hardware correctly connected up, you're going to need to set up your recording software. So let's have a look at that next. So I've got my recording software all ready with a new project. And what I'm going to do is create 2 new tracks, one for the vocals and one for the keyboard. So I'm just going to name them, colour them, get them all set up. I need to arm them for recording, and I need to make sure the input for track 1 is the input 1 on the interface, which is where the microphone is connected, and then the second track is going to be recording through input 2 on the interface, which is where my keyboard is connected. Okay, so I'm ready to record. I shall set my keyboard playing and then record some vocals over the top. So the keyboard is recording a mono signal on track 2, and then I am recording my vocals through my large diaphragm condenser mic that I showed you earlier on track 1. And so if I keep talking for a bit, so we get enough footage, as it were, so we get enough to listen to and to play back each track individually. Okay, I'm going to stop recording now. So now what we'll do is we'll have a listen to the raw footage. Just play it back. So the keyboard is recording a mono signal on track 2, and then I am recording my vocals through my large diaphragm condenser mic that I showed you earlier. So you can see we've got a combination of the vocal track I recorded and the keyboard. Now what I'm going to do is mute each track individually and play the other one back so that you can just hear that they have recorded separately on each track. The vocal track first. So the keyboard is recording a mono signal on track 2, and then I am recording my vocals through my large diaphragm. And now the keyboard track. Now what I'll need to do is obviously play with the levels, play with the gain on the interface, play with the levels coming out of the keyboard, and maybe use plugins such as reverb on my vocals and stuff. But this gives you a very rough and ready and quick demonstration of how the kit is working within the recording software. Well, I hope you found that helpful. Don't forget, if you have any comments and questions, post them below. If you have enjoyed this video, then do give it a like, and do subscribe if you want to get more of my home recording studio setup tutorials. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.